Колеги, доброго дня. Я пропоную ще одну хвилинку почекати і почнемо. Друзі, доброго дня. Я думаю, ми почнемо і колеги інші приєднаються до нас з часом. Перше, я би хотіла сказати всім дякуємо за вашу роботу і за те, що ви тут з нами. За даними нещодавно оприлюдненими Міністерством культури і інформаційної політики, серед журналістів загинуло 18 осіб, викрадено 8, отримали поранення 13, безвісти зникло 3 і зазнали залякування 15 журналістів. Ми висловлюємо ще раз співчуття сім'ям і близьким усіх поранених, взятих у полон, зниклих безвісті та вбитих журналістів. І я на початку хотіла би попросити згадати всіх, кого з нами сьогодні немає, хвилиною мовчання. Дякую. Важко переоцінити той досвід, який у більшості з вас вже є, та загалом роль, яку ЗМІ відіграють під час воєнного стану, надаючи своєчасну, достовірну та незаангажоване інформування громадян і всього світу. Мене звати Ліана, я координую проекти у сфері свободи ЗМІ, координатора проектів ОБСЄ. Я впевнена, всі багато знають про роботу спеціальної моніторингової місії ОБСЄ в Україні, яка збирала інформацію про безпекову ситуацію тут. Держави-учасниці ОБСЄ не досягли консенсусу щодо продовження її мандату, а термін їхнього мандату закінчився 31 березня. Тому по факту на сьогодні в Україні залишається одна присутність організації – це координатор проектів ОБСЄ, який вже понад 20 років допомагає вирішувати багато нагальних питань в проектній формі. Ми продовжуємо працювати і серед іншого, серед сфер нашої роботи є підтримка незалежних медіа, розбудова гуманітарного розмінування. Сьогоднішня подія – це перетин цих двох напрямів, і ми хочемо поділитися нашою експертизою в протимінній діяльності і водночас підтримати журналістів, яким тепер доводиться працювати у дедалі небезпечних умовах. Це перший спільний захід Комісії журналістської етики, координатора проектів ОБСЄ. Ми плануємо ще декілька, які мають допомогти журналістам працювати під час воєнного стану в Україні. Ми дуже сподіваємося, що це буде корисним. Більше інформації я розкажу наприкінці заходу. Ще з технічної сторони захід буде англійською, з українським перекладом. У вас на нижній панелі ви можете побачити, там є глобус, і можете обрати зручну для вас мову. Наразі я би хотіла передати слово людині, яка не потребує представлення, пане Андрію Куликову. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Shall I moderate in English or I'm allowed to speak Ukrainian? Yes, Mільєнко says I can speak Ukrainian. There's a very professional interpreter, so почну не з того, з чого хотів почати. Тому що журналісти мають реагувати на те, що відбувається просто зараз. І просто перед початком нашої зустрічі надійшло повідомлення «Слава Україні! Вітання усім присутнім із Державного податкового університету». Я перепитав: Ірпінь? Так. І ще одне повідомлення. Доброго дня. Регіональний ландшафтний парк Краматорський на зв'язку. Якщо люди із таких місць, із таких міст зв'язуються з нами, значить ми будемо разом робити дещо дуже корисне. Ну, а тепер про те, з чого хотів почати. Моя остання закордонна відпустка була у Хорватії. Коли ми зараз кажемо, що такої війни яку ми зараз переживаємо, не було в 21 столітті, так, це правда. Але не забуваємо, що в Європі зовсім близько до 21 століття точилися дуже жорстокі, з великими жертвами війни. І Хорватія мала частину своєї території окуповану, Хорватія відстоювала незалежність, і Хорватія пережила у великій мірі те, що ми переживаємо зараз. Тому людина, яка буде з нами сьогодні працювати, це людина, яка теж розуміє, що зараз коїться в Україні. Це Мільєнко Вахтаріч, технічний радник з протимінної діяльності, координатора проєктів ОБСЄ. Він експерт з багаторічним міжнародним досвідом. Уже з 2017 року він допомагає Україні впровадити системний підхід до гуманітарного розмінування, а до цього він працював у Хорватському центрі протимінної діяльності. А якщо в країні є такий центр, то ви розумієте, що це не з доброго дива, а через потребу. Мільєнко працював над розробкою та втіленням національної програми очищення територій, постраждалих від бойових дій, в тому числі був помічником директора цього центру з міжнародного співробітництва і інформування про мінні ризики. Мільєнко, я гадаю, що це непогана рекомендація, але найбільшою рекомендацією буде те, що ми від тебе почуємо, що ми дізнаємось, і я певен, що ця розмова із Мільєнко Вахтаричем здатна врятувати і здоров'я, і життя багатьох із нас. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Andriy, for this introduction. I will now share my screen and start the presentation. Sorry. You see presentation? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So, as Andriy said, I'm coming from Croatia, and we had in Croatia and in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the beginning of the 90s, a terrible war. That's something that we are now seeing here in larger scale in Ukraine. I'm starting with this graph. I know the statistic is sometimes not popular, and there are just numbers here, but I wanted to show you exactly how it was in the Croatia during the war and after the war. Why I'm showing this slide is the war in Croatia was between 91 and 95. So you can see here the number of mine victims and mine casualties during this period of time. So the whole period of the war, the casualties were going down because there were no big scale activities. But then in 1995, when we started the campaign or activity of liberation of Croatia, you see that there is a peak of the mine victims. It's not because of the conflict. The peak was there because when the land was liberated in 1995, people wanted to return back to their homes, and they become casualties of mine because they didn't have people who can advise them on the safe behavior, what to do, what not to do. We didn't have enough forces to prevent them to go there or to clear the territory before they return back home. And as you can see, as immediately as the system was put in place, the number of casualties was dropping down, rapidly dropping down. This is something that we can expect now in the territories that are liberated north from Kiev and in the other territory that will be liberated in Ukraine. This is what we have to prevent. And This is why I would like to emphasize today, through my presentation and through messages that we will hear today, how to prevent the future casualties, how to reduce the number of casualties in Ukraine, and also this is the huge role in the prevention is the role of the journalist. You should be the one who will pass this information, pass the message on right behavior, how to behave when you enter the territory that is liberated. So I am really hoping that Ukraine will not have this peak. The same situation happened in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in all previously war-affected communities. People are refugees for a long period. They can't wait to come back home. So the casualties happen. Not only OSCE, but together with the other international organizations, we started a campaign. We started campaign as soon as the war started in Ukraine in 2014. Even before that, because Ukraine was also affected by the remnants of the previous wars, Second World War, First World War. They are still finding unexploded ordnance. Our colleagues from State Emergency Service, Ministry of Defense, the Special Transport Service, they are finding remnants of war from previous wars. But then the new conflict was spreading a lot of and much more lethal unexploded ordnance. So we started the campaign to teach or to show how to properly behave in the territories that are affected by the war. I'm always saying now that I'm always using this word war-affected territories because it's not mine-affected territories. The territory is much bigger. In some territories, maybe there are no mines, there are no explosive ordnance, but still there can be some booby traps and some other items. So this is why I'm using the term war-affected territories. So the messages are very simple, and I'm sure that everybody can remember it very quickly and can transfer it and repeat it and send the message to the other people. The message is from variety of this, leave the job to the experts. You have fantastic experts here in Ukraine. The agencies that I mentioned, there are other agencies, but you can see that State Emergency Service of Ukraine is working on a daily basis and removing explosive ordinances from these war-affected territories. Avoid places that are used by the military. Just don't go, don't be curious, don't research on the vehicles or any other military equipment that is abandoned or destroyed. Avoid these places because there can be unexploded ordnance inside, they can be booby traps. Again, avoid these destroyed territories, the houses that are destroyed. Don't dig there and try to find something because you can activate explosive device. Don't pick up any kind of the object that you see of the military origin. Is it the bullets, mines, or even if you see a uniform, you never know what is in this uniform, or is it the booby trap or whatever. So just avoid these places. And you can see that enemy is using this a different kind of improvised explosive devices or booby traps that can harm people, civilians, when they return to their homes. Any object that you see that does not belong to you, don't touch it. Like toys, like mobile phones, like any shiny objects that you see, oh, this is nice, let's see what it is. It can be booby trap. So please, the messages are very simple. You just have to follow this procedure. So the simple thing is, don't touch, don't approach. If you see something that is of military object or suspicious, call 101 or call 112. I heard that this is also a number that is now used in Ukraine. Call the police, leave this area immediately. In some cases, I saw also the messages, don't use mobile phones in this area, because mobile phones can trigger some devices. There can be explosions. Definitely avoid forest areas. There can be a lot of booby traps, or how you call it, rastyoshka. So definitely avoid these places. Avoid the areas of the conflict until the officials, state emergency service or other specialized units say that the area is clear. As you can see here in these messages, I did not use the warning signs, not for now, because we were using warning signs in the east where the conflict was stable, let's say. But now with the movements of the conflict, you never know where these warning signs are ending. You can see a warning sign, but maybe you are hundreds and hundreds of meters now into the minefield. So for now, warning signs are not the thing that you should look as a sign of the potential dangerous area, not until the specialists clear the land and clearly mark with the official signs the territory that is dangerous. So coming from this, I will just like to go to another slide. This is something that is also very important for the journalist. As Liana said at the beginning, you have a lot of your colleagues, our friends, journalists that were killed in this war. Unfortunately, journalists are very often a target of the enemy because they want to stop them to spread the news and to spread the truth about the atrocities and everything that is happening there. The same situation was in Croatia, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, in every single war. The journalists are very often target of the enemy. So for you, the journalists that are reporting from this area, here are some advices that you can find basically in almost every booklet or brochure that were done by the journalists, how to behave in the war-affected areas and the territories. So, never leave a solid ground, never leave well-used roads or paths, and even if you have to go to do some natural things, don't leave it. Don't leave the solid ground. Don't leave asphalt, because there can be mines, this is dangerous behavior. Of course, don't go around in the night because you can't see what is around you. You don't have the orientation, the good orientation. It is very important when you are in a war-affected territory to observe things, to see some things, to see if the road, the path, if it is ground, is it disturbed? Are there some signs like wires along the road? Do you see something suspicious like branches that were broken or something like this? These all can be signs of there are some booby traps or there are mines in the ground. So please be very careful when you are going in these territories. Just try to use all of your senses and try to see, look around, observe. You will find the signs of the danger. You can also see sometimes if somebody was there before you and saw some objects, they're using this, warning signs or signs that are just like this. You find a branch, you see the mine in front of you, you put the branch in a cross in front of it so that you know that this road is mine. Or you just put a stick in the ground and preventing people to enter there. If there are no sticks, you can use the pebbles and kind of mark the territory that is not there, that is showing that there are possibly mines. usually in the peacetime, I will never say you this to use it and to do this, because it's not professional, and you can just mislead the persons. But now during the war, this can be also a sign that there is a danger in front of you, so you should basically avoid these territories. Be careful and bear in mind that there are a few cases that there are only single mines, isolated mines. Usually there are minefields with more than 20, 30 mines around. So if you see one, there is a 100% possibility there are a lot of mines around you. So when you see it, just try to leave this place on the same way that you came to this territory. The same for in the liberated towns of Irpin and Bucha, where you can see booby traps in the apartments, in the houses. When you're opening doors, you know, you can see this F1 grenade that made that placed like a booby trap. So please, if you see something suspicious, just leave this place immediately. And if you just observe it, if you see it, report to the police, and the experts will come and defuse these items. Again, the same as for civilians, never touch explosive objects and never encourage others to destroy it in front of you so that you can film it. This is not a proper behavior. What is even worse is I saw, unfortunately, some of journalists were giving to kids military items like tails of the mortar, you know, and taking pictures with a child with this, the picture of the child that is surrounded with destroyed houses is sad enough. You don't have to increase it by giving them some items and saying, oh, you know, poor child with surrounded with the mines. No, this should be avoided 100%. Never show it should be avoided to show people, even professionals, how to handle mines, how to handle the explosive objects, because then you are showing to the others that, if he can touch it, it's safe. So I can do it, I can carry it, and I can bring it home. I have a video of one video, I'll try to share it now with you, that is showing exactly the behavior that should not be used and not be presented. So just give me a second to show you this. I'm quite sure that you also, can you see it? I'm quite sure that you also this movie. Can you see it? You can see it?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, I'll try to share another new share. Here it is. Can you see it now? So I'm sure that you all seen this video of military persons removing by foot anti-tank mines. That's bad. And this is even worse, showing pictures of people going across the mines. That's very bad, because you never know what type of mine is there. You have mines that have a counter. So 99 vehicles can pass. The 100th vehicle will explode because the counter will stop and it will explode. So this is a behavior that should be, this kind of a footage should be definitely avoided to show publicly. There are so many of these videos that I found on YouTube. I'll come back to the presentation. So there are so many videos that I found on YouTube that are similar to this. what I want to say that you also be careful what you are filming and what you're reporting, because the other side, the enemy is watching this the same. And then when you see the tractors pulling out the tanks from the field, this is very nice for boosting morale. But then the enemy will see what you are doing, and then he will put the mines around the tanks. So once when you come with the tractor will explode. And this is what happened here in Ukraine. And there are footages, you can see it, of destroyed tractor that were trying to pull the vehicle out. There is another footage of the tractor that wanted to take out the rocket from the ground. Nothing happened. Now, nothing happened that time. But showing this, you are, but we can do it. We don't have to wait for the state emergency service. We can do it. We have a tractor, we have this thing to dig out the rocket, so why don't we do it? This is bad. This should not be shown. You have, again, so many footages of old lady dragging a rocket behind her because she found it. To somebody, this is funny. For me, this is terrifying, because somebody will see it and will say, oh, there is a big piece of metal here. I can sell it so I can earn some money. You can lose your life behaving like this. So a lot of these things that are shown on the TV looks nice, but they are not correct. I just watched this morning a beautiful song of a popular Ukrainian singer. They have a video where this famous footage of a man with a cigarette in a mouth very carefully moving the anti-tank mine from the street. To somebody, this is funny. For me, this is terrifying. Imagine kids looking at this footage and thinking, oh, I can do this. I saw a mine, so I'll just pull it I'll move it from the ground. Everything can happen. The bad things can happen. So here is the messages that I wanted to pass to you, that you should be aware when you are putting something, when you are putting some footages or videos on the internet, you have to know that enemy is watching this. You know the case of this journalist that was ordered to leave Ukraine because he was filming the bombing and he said, oh, they hit this territory. This is fantastic for the enemy. He just have to show your TV and say, oh, good, we striked. Or even bad, if they missed, you are giving them correction, you know. So we missed, so let's target somewhere else. These are the things that you have to avoid, definitely. So I'm stopping here. With this, I have also a couple of slides about the convention, if you want, but I'm also now open for questions and answers, and we can talk about the conventions later, if you agree with this. Andrei, I'm leaving this decision to you.
Хвала Ляпо, Мільєнко. І у нас вже є перші запитання, які надійшли в чат. І я нагадую, що можна або написати запитання в чат, або скористатися функцією «Підняти руку» у реакціях. Першою запитує Ліза Кузьменко. Вона пише: читала посібник за редакцією моєї колеги з Комісії журналістської етики Діани Дуцик за редакцією Мільєнкової Вахтаріча. Там був приклад, як медіа порушують журналістські стандарти при висвітленні теми гуманітарного розмінування. Йшлося про заголовок: на Донбасі двоє підірвалися на міні, хоча джерело вказувало на невідомому вибуховому пристрої. Які ще порушення, окрім тих, про які ви говорили, Мільєнко, ви зауважували в українських медіа, от, зокрема, щодо точності термінології?
The mistake is here that if you don't know what the explosive object is, you cannot call it mine. Mine is a specific object, is a specific explosive item that is buried, that is hidden in the ground. And it can explode on a different ways. But the thing is that if you say that the territory that somebody was blown on a mine, that means that there are mines all over this place. And apparently this is the case where people were taking cluster bombs. I know the case where they were taking, a father and a son took a cluster bomb and then it exploded at home. So this is the thing. If you don't know what made the explosion and you have to report it, just use that this was unknown explosive object. If you say that it's mine, then it means that the whole territory around this area where they found it is mined and it's not safe. Basically, you are giving a false information to the people, to the community.
Дякую. Поки немає інших запитань, я скористаюся своїм привілеєм модератора і поставлю дуже особистісне і дуже конкретне запитання. Коли почалася навала, мої діти були в Немішаєві. І на другий чи третій день мені вдалося, грубо на них накричавши, змусити їх покинути це селище. Зараз вони в безпеці. Але в селищі залишилася кішка, яку дуже люблять мої онуки, та й діти теж. Залишилися ключі від київської квартири, і їх потрібно забрати. На тій ділянці, де розташовано нашу хату, з якої вже повилітали шибки і паркан завалився внаслідок обстрілів, я знаю кожен крок. І я уявляю, як я пройду туди, де, як мені відомо, лежать ключі, але я не знаю, де кішка. І зрештою, навіть якщо я її покличу, вона може наштовхнутися на міну. Що робити, Мільєнко?
Well, first you have to wait. You have to report it to the authorities, to the state emergency service. Ask them what is the situation in this area. If they say that they didn't have a time still to clear it, definitely don't go there. The cats are too light maybe to trigger anti-personnel mine or anti-tank mine, but they can trigger a booby trap or something else. So my advice in this case, don't go to this war offense from state or from national police, bomb squad, or whoever. Never go back alone.
Дуже дякую, це дуже цінно. Мільєнко, як було організовано просвіту людей у Хорватії? Не лише ж потрібно розробити правила, а потрібно донести їх до якомога більшої кількості людей. Як ви це робили? І які засоби масової комунікації? Ну, тоді вже інтернет, звичайно, був, але не так поширений, як зараз. То що це було? Телебачення, газети, радіо, спеціальні листівки? Будь ласка.
We have done everything that is possible and everything that all means that can approach to the public in general. So radios, okay, TV. We were going together with the specialists from the Ministry of Interior to the schools. We concentrated a lot on children because what we saw, and you know, this is very important, that message that you spread, it doesn't stay with you. You are then spreading this message, you are multiplying the information to your community if you hear something from the officials. So what we saw that when I give information to you, Andriy, that you know the mines are dangerous and all this stuff, you have your job, you have your daily problems. So you heard this information. Yes, I know it, but now I have to do my job. When you give this information to the child, he comes home and he speaks with you. Papa, I heard about the mines. Can you tell me more about this? Or with the grandparents. This is how they spread the word. And then you are telling them, yes, they are right, don't do this, you know, be careful. So we were concentrated a lot on children, and it was shown as a good strategy. But then we were also targeting endangered groups like hunters, fishermen, hikers, people that like to go to collect mushrooms. You know, we were agricultural farmers, because every group has a different behavior. So we created the campaigns for specific groups, different campaign for specific groups, organize meetings, organize, as I said, the TV or radio campaigns, theater plays. This is what kids like. You know, you have a hero that they will follow their behavior. So whatever they are doing, they will repeat it. So if you are showing good things, kids will repeat these good things. So as I said again, a variety of things were used in Croatia, and I can tell you that this is happening also here in Ukraine with all this international and national organization. They have their campaigns. If you go to the web pages of the State Emergency Service, of Ministry of Defense or Ukrainian Armed Forces, of UNICEF, ICRC, they all have their campaigns about the mine awareness. And every year we have on the 4th of April, International Mine Awareness Day. So this is additional campaign all over the world about the problems and danger from mines.
Дуже дякую. І от те, що сказав Мільєнко, що треба робити свою справу, воно нам має безпосередній стосунок, тому що наша справа є не тільки почути і дізнатися, а й поширити цю інформацію, цілком згоден. Тут трошки Олександр Кривенко, значить, він дещо запізнився із своїм запитанням, але я певен, що Мільєнко може його удокладнити. Олександр Кривенко запитує, які особливості проведення просвітницької роботи щодо мінної безпеки серед вчителів, школярів, їхніх батьків? Мені здається, що Мільєнко вже більш-менш відповів на це запитання, але якщо хочеш, то додай щось.
Yes, when you are approaching with the messages to the children, you have to be very careful what you are presenting and how you are presenting it. I saw some cases at the beginning where, and the cases also from Croatia, where soldiers were showing the kids, you know, explosive objects, hand grenades. They were having them in their hands and saying, you know, this is how the hand grenade operate. You pull this out and then you leave this and then the bomb is activating. You never do this. You are never showing children how it works. You are never touching the objects. The objects are on a table or on the board and you are presenting it saying this is dangerous object. It can harm you, it can explode, it can kill you, so, but never touching the place, touching the things. After that, I saw footage of the kid with the paper tube, you know, doing like this. And they asked him what you are doing. And I saw a policeman who was showing me how this rocket launcher looks like and how it works, how it operates. So this is how he got the message. This has to be stopped. So you are not doing these things. You never show the pictures of the injuries of the children with the disabilities or their wounds. This is not bad. This is not good. So these are some instructions how to behave. You have to be very sensitive when you are showing message to the children.
Дуже важливо, дякую. Наталія Отенко запитує, яка ефективність запобіжних заходів і яка кількість була знешкоджена завдяки пильності населення? Можливо, Мільєнко знає і хорватські, і українські цифри. Будь ласка.
Well, the vigilance is not clearing the mines. The vigilance is protecting you to be a part of the statistic of mine victims. When you saw this slide with the graph of the casualties in Croatia, so we had this peak in the end of the war, and then we started with a systematic campaign of education, and you saw that every year the number of mine victims was reducing, and at the end, basically we had only casualties among the miners. Of course, when you are working with explosive objects, you can expect casualties. Last civilian victim from mines in Croatia was in 2012. We still didn't finish the mining. Last child that was unfortunately killed by mines in Croatia was in 2004. Now it's 2022 and we still have mines. So this is the presentation how the good campaign can prevent casualties among civilians.
Дякую. Є таке, я би сказав, суперечливе, і декому це запитання може не сподобатись, як утім і кожне запитання. Але міни розставляють не лише вороги. Міни розставляють свої війська для оборони. І коли змінюється оперативно-тактична обстановка, досить часто ці міни залишаються на місці. Тому що от ворог відійшов від Києва, але я припускаю, що вони повернуться. І розміновувати, а потім знову заміновувати – це витрачати зусилля. А як у Хорватії свої поводилися з мінними полями, і не тільки в Хорватії, а в принципі, наскільки своє військове командування зважає на інтереси мирного населення?
Every military unit that is planting mines, this is in their procedures, standard operating procedures, have to draw a sketch and have a record of that minefield. When you have a changes of unit in one position, because the units are not staying all the time at the same place, this minefield record is given to another unit, or unit that was planting a mine is clearing the land, giving this report to another unit, because maybe this another unit want to put defense differently. So the good thing is when you have a regular forces, there are minefield records that are very helpful in a time of peace. They are saving a lot of money to the state where the land should be cleared. We had a problem at the beginning that we didn't have a regular army. We have a lot of volunteers that have weapons and mines, and they were putting these mines wherever they think that they should be placed. And then tomorrow you are going somewhere else and you are forgetting about these mines. This was what was causing the biggest problem in our region. A lot of territories were mined without any professional scheme or any professional records. When all the international organizations from the subcluster, Mine Action Subcluster, what we were speaking with our colleagues from the armed forces, that we were urging them to keep these records. They don't have to show us now, but they have to keep these records for the peacetime. Then you will, as I said before, you will save a lot of money to the taxpayers in Ukraine, and the territory will be easily marked with the warning signs, so to prevent people to enter these territories.
Дуже дякую, Мільєнко. Активізуються люди в чаті, є вже чимало запитань. Я почну з запитання Яни Ярмак. Вона запитує, чи правильно, що по новинах показують, як знешкоджують міни, а саме, що їх поливають водою під час знешкодження і накривають ганчіркою. Чи взагалі таке знешкодження є ефективним?
Yes, I've seen it. Yes, I've seen it. There is nothing wrong with showing professionals doing their work. The one who is reporting and filming, he has to bear in mind to have a safety distance from the professionals who is doing the job. This was wrong in this footage. You see a cameraman just above these two persons that were defusing this big bomb. The security protocol was 0 there. So that was wrong. These two persons were very brave, but this is wrong. So as I said before, leave demining to professionals. They can show how they are operating, but this is what they can do. And this is their job. This doesn't reflect to the other people, to the other persons, as long as you are saying them this message. This is job for the professionals, not for the civilians. And I can tell you one situation, one case from Croatia. We had one person who was clearing the land because he was a soldier, a former soldier. He was clearing the land and journalists were coming to him and he said, listen, I cleared my land, you know, I'm doing this much quicker than the professionals. So he was a hero. And then journalists were coming to us and say, why are you doing so slowly? But look at this guy. He is not trained, but he is doing this very quickly. Everything was okay until his cousin was killed in the field that he cleared. So again, leave clearance to the professionals. They know what to do.
Дуже дякую. І в розвиток попереднього запитання, Ліза Кузьменко, якщо йдеться про зображення і відео про розмінування, що або кого краще не показувати, ви вже сказали про дітей з мінами, які ще застереження. От що Мільєнко вважає просто необхідним ще наголосити?
When you are presenting how the miners are clearing, you are not showing them the process of diffusing and this stuff. You're just showing the procedure of clearing the land with the metal detectors. And yes, you can show the explosions at the end to see that the thing was destroyed. It's not a problem that they are clearing the things where they found it sometimes, because according to the standard operating procedures, some items should not be moved. So they should be destroyed inside, not moved. So there is nothing wrong with this procedure. But again, you don't have to show the details, how the mine is diffused and how they are putting the explosive or whatever they are doing. You just show the big screen, you know, the miner in the field, kneeling, probing the ground, but you don't have to go into the details.
Дякую. Є кілька, не те що запитання, а триває обмін думками в чаті. От Лариса Мельник із Хмельницького обласного інституту післядипломної педагогічної освіти пише, що про активність Комісії журналістської етики постійно інформують педагогів області. Нам це дуже важливо. Дякую. Є запитання від Нікіти Кравченка, який запитує, де йому можна дістати допомогу в отриманні журналістського посвідчення. Потім ми вам надамо відповідь обов'язково і почитайте матеріали. Будь ласка, позначте свою електронну адресу мені в чат, так, я вам потім відповім. Тому що це процедура непроста, і особливо зараз у умовах війни. Так, Ліза Кузьменко, дякую за пояснення. І от важливе запитання теж від Анастасії Зубової. Чи можете розповісти про касетні снаряди, як поводитись під час і після обстрілу ними?
Well, during the shelling, you have to go to find a shelter. You have to avoid to be on the open space, definitely. After the shelling, the problem of the cluster bombs, as every other explosive object that is fired, a big percentage of these objects will not blow up. It will remain on the ground. That doesn't mean that they are safe. That means that they are very unstable. And in the procedures, the cluster munitions, you never move it. You just destroy cluster munitions on site because they're fused, and the mechanism of initiation is very unstable when they hit the ground and don't explode. So again, avoid these territories, avoid the places where you know and you have information that there are cluster bombs. The positive thing is, as a difference from mines and the cluster bombs are lighter. So when they don't explode, you could see them on the surface. Usually you will see somewhere near a container that these cluster bombs were shelled. So when you see these signs, avoid this place, report to the state emergency service or the police. They will come, they will search the area, clear the area, and then you will be able to return back home.
Мільєнко, дуже дякую. Я гадаю, що зараз ми перейдемо все ж таки до частини про міжнародні конвенції, тому що це дуже важливо, зокрема в спілкуванні з зовнішнім світом. Але перед тим у мене ще є запитання із особистої практики. Воно от у чому. Колись давним-давно, коли я навчався в університеті, я не знаю, яка була практика в Хорватії, а нам для того, щоб отримати звання лейтенанта запасу, треба було пройти так звані військові табори. І от ми були в лісі під Конотопом, там недалеко, і нас, звичайно ж, відрядили рити траншею для водогону до Конотопа. І коли ми її рили, ми знайшли невибухнулий снаряд, очевидно, може, із Другої світової війни, а може що, був снаряд. Ми страшенно перелякалися і викликали пожежників, міліцію і кого тільки могли викликати. Але вони не їхали і не їхали. Я повторюю, це був десь 78-й рік. От. І нас було 5-4 зовсім зелені, такі як я, а один служив у війську, був сержант, і він сказав: хлопці, ховайтеся, я знаю, що з цим робити. І він узяв цей снаряд і просто на руках відніс до бетонного кільця від колодязя, і сам, блідий, як як папір, повернувся до нас. Якби, не дай Бог, щось сталося, хто в таких випадках має нести відповідальність? Або, якщо офіцер каже непідготовленому солдату зроби те-то і те-то, хто за це має відповідати?
That's a very good question. There is a law, and there is regulations, and there are the occupations who are trained to do these things. This is going into the risk of their occupation, and if something happened with them, they are, according to the law, covered with some insurance policies or the other things. I don't know how it is in the other occupation in Ukraine done, but I think also in construction, if you get injured during the work in the building, you will be compensated for if you were following all the procedures. Unfortunately, for these persons who are not professionals and doing the stuff, if something happened to them, they will be a mine victim, maybe disabled, and maybe they will survive, but they will have a problem. They will become, it's tough to say, but they are becoming a burden to a society, first to their family, because they cannot anymore give income to the house, but then the society will have to take care of this person just because they were doing things that they are not authorized to do. So again, your colleague was very lucky that nothing happened to him, but this is exactly the behavior that should be avoided by any means.
Дуже дякую. І переходимо все ж таки, Мільєнко, я попрошу 10 хвилин про міжнародні конвенції. Це важливо, а потім ще є одне-два практичні запитання. Будь ласка.
So the activities with mines and unexploded ordnance are regulated through 3 conventions. I put it in this order, but if we are going chronologically, the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, CCW, should be the first one because it was adopted in 80s of last century. And all the parties in the war, Russia and Ukraine, signed this convention, and what is most important, Protocol 2 and Protocol 5. Later on, I will tell you about this. Another convention that is important for Ukraine is Anti-Personnel Bind Convention, or it's called Ottawa Convention, the convention that is banning the use of anti-personnel mines and some anti-tank mines that can be triggered by civilians. This convention is signed by Ukraine and ratified in beginning of this century. At the beginning of this century, Russia did not sign this convention. Convention on Cluster Ammunition, the CCM, this is the convention that neither Ukraine nor Russia have signed. Just quickly, the obligation from the Ottawa Convention or Anti-Personnel Bind Convention is not to use anti-personnel, the countries that signed the convention should not use anti-personnel mines in any case, should not stockpile, retain, or transfer or sell the anti-personnel mines, and they are encouraged to destroy all the stockpiles of anti-personnel mines. So this is the basis of the basis of the anti-personnel mine ban convention. This is how it looks like. The countries that signed the Ottawa Convention. As you can see, Russia did not sign this convention. This is the old status from 2018 about the pollution of anti-personnel mines. Now the Ukraine, as I heard now from the Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk, she stated today that Ukraine is the most polluted country in the world with anti-personnel mines, or with she said mines. Convention on cluster ammunition, basically the same rules apply for the Convention on cluster ammunition. The only difference is in this convention is that they focus more on the rights of the victims of the cluster bombs. So the same, not to use them, not to transfer them, not to sell them, and to destroy stockpiles of the cluster bombs. Again, you can see the countries that are signed the convention. You can see always that the biggest producers of weapons and munitions, they are not signing this convention. And in this case, neither Ukraine nor Russia has signed this convention. And the third one is the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. Here we have a majority of the countries in the world signed this convention. Practically what I said, that for us, the most important things are the Protocol 2 and Protocol 5. Protocol 2 is basically saying that with Protocol 2, all non-metal mines are banned. So the country started to produce the plastic mines with a small or even insignificant piece of metal that you cannot detect by a metal detector. They were causing a lot of problems. So with this convention, it's ordered that every single mine should have certain quantity of metal that can be easily detected, or that mines should have a time fuse that they will explode after a certain period of time. I saw now also that footage is on on the media that Russians are using this butterfly mine that have the letter C, as means a self-destruct. But the question is, what is the quality of this, and will it self-destruct? Usually it doesn't self-destruct. So this is the problem. And Protocol 5 is basically saying that every country that is a signatory of this protocol have to clear his territory from explosive remnants of war. These protocols were not enough. So this is why the new campaign was started to have 2 new conventions, anti-personnel mine ban convention that is stopping production of every single anti-personnel mine and to destroy it in the stocks. And the same is with the cluster munition convention. So that's it about, I have here, well, maybe I can, well, you can go to the web pages of the State Emergency Service and you can see the mines that are usually the most commonly found now in Ukraine during this war.
Дякую, Міло.
For questions.
Я вважаю, що це важливо знати, зокрема і для того, щоб працювати з закордонними засобами масової інформації та зі своїми. І повертаємось до дуже практичних запитань. Власне, тут сформувалося їх кілька, і вони всі приблизно на ту саму тему. От Наталія Отенко запитує, чи важливо пильніше наглядати за домашніми тваринами під час розмінування територій, а Яна Ярмак в продовження питання Наталії запитує, що в деяких містах заміновують території, попереджають про це населення або розвішують спеціальні таблички, але ж безпритульні тварини не вміють читати, і в них немає хазяїна, щоб слідкувати за цими тваринами. Що буде з ними в такій ситуації? І Ліза Кузьменко, чи має значення вага тварини? Наприклад, що ваги кішки буде недостатньо, щоб вибуховий пристрій зреагував. Отже, про потребу догляду за домашніми тваринами, про те, що робити з безпритульними тваринами. Будь ласка, це важливе запитання. А я до нього додам ще одне після того, як Міленко відповість.
I'll start with the body weight. I was present on one lecture in the east of Ukraine. You have this the same as we had this civil defense subject in the school, where the students were taught about how to use the guns and showing the mines and this stuff, you know, like a preparation for the serving in the army. And the professor said one thing, that the pressure for anti-personnel mine is, you know, X kilos, a smaller amount, and the pressure for anti-tank mines is above 100 kilos. One student said, so if I step on anti-tank mine, nothing will happen. And he said, yes, that's wrong. That's completely wrong. You never know how the fuse is set on what pressure. So you never say that it's safe to walk on the field where there are anti-tank mines and nothing will happen to you. So this is like a body weight ratio. The same goes to the animals. You can see goats walking or dogs walking to the field. That doesn't mean that this field doesn't have anti-personnel mines. Maybe they are missing it. But the problem with when you are doing a clearance, definitely it is a problem if there are stray dogs or animals going around, especially the places where you know that they have booby traps or these mines on the wires. So if there is a marked minefield, yeah, birds, they cannot do it. But in any case, if the bird flies, I don't know this, but the thing is that we found during the demining in Croatia, we found a lot of skeletons of wild animals that were killed by anti-personnel mines. So it is a big danger. Somebody was saying, okay, I have a herd of goats or sheep and I will put them to walk over the field, and after that I'm sure that nothing will happen, that this is safe. No, it's not. So again, the territory that is identified as suspected and dangerous should be cleared by the professionals.
Дякую, Мільєнко. Своє запитання я відкладаю трохи, тому що дуже важливе запитання від Анастасії Зубова. Можна уточнити, які конкретно положення конвенцій Україна може використовувати на власний захист в міжнародних судах? І що конкретно означає, що Україна і Росія не ратифіковували цих конвенцій? Ми тоді не маємо права вимагати якогось захисту в міжнародній площині? Чи як?
Well, you know, it's very political question, and I would like to not to answer it like this. I would answer it personally as my opinion. All weapons, mines, cluster bombs are bad, and they're used to kill civilians. So it doesn't matter, is it covered by the convention or not covered by the convention? These weapons should not be used and should be banned. Should not be used in the war. But unfortunately, we live in not perfect world. And even the countries that signed the convention, we know that they are breaking this, they are breaching conventions. The countries that are not signing conventions, they are, I will give you an example of the United States of America. They didn't sign conventions, but they made a strong statement that they are no longer producing, no trading, not using anti-personnel mines, and they are keeping with this. They didn't sign it. I don't know what is the reason, but the United States is the biggest donor and was a producer of the arms, but they stopped producing this kind of weapons. So you see, the convention is good. The convention should be signed, and one of the roles of all of us is to advocate for every single country in the world, every single government to sign the convention so that we can get rid of these items, dangerous items. But we are not, as I said, we are not living in a perfect world.
Дякую дуже, Мільєнко. І я думаю, що ми вже підходимо до закінчення нашої роботи. І тим більше у мене є бажання почути відповідь ще й на власні запитання. В продовження того, про що запитували і Наталя Отенко, і Яна Ярмак, і Ліза Кузьменко, про тварин. Наскільки часті випадки, коли тварин використовують як booby trap?
I can't say. I would not. I would lie this if I would say that I have knowledge about this. You know, unfortunately, of course, the imagination of the people is very, very big, and they can, if they want to harm you, they can do everything, and even booby-trapped animals, so that they can make more damage. But I didn't hear about such a case. I know that some animals are used as a carrier of the explosive and bombs, but I didn't hear about such a case.
Слава Богу, але насправді, звичайно, виключати ми такого не можемо. І ще одне запитання. Мільєнко згадав про, скажімо, мисливців, рибалок, інших людей, грибників, до яких я належу, я грибник завзятий, які є серед потенційно найбільше загрожених людей, коли відбувається мінування лісової місцевості. Але там ще є і озера, і ставки, і малі річки. Як часто відбувається мінування у воді? Чи такого нема? І чи це додаткова небезпека? Чи навпаки, от міну може затягти мулом, і вона припинить функціонування?
Yes, this is also a big danger, a big threat. You can have mines that are on the shores of the rivers and lakes because the flood or something just brought them there. So you can think that I'm far away from the battlefield, so it's safe, but the mine can float, can move, and come to the places where they were not before. You have the places where the beaches were mined just because of protection. You have the anti-ship mines that are all over the territories that are in a conflict. So again, the experts, and Ukraine has fantastic experts, deminers for underwater demining. They should check this territory. They should clear this territory. And if you see something suspicious, your obligation is to call them, to report this to them so that they can come and destroy this item. Before I give the floor again to you, Andrea, I just saw in my notes something here that I want to also mention. There is also one a theory, or I don't know how to call it, that if you are burning the area, if you burn the grass, that everything that is in this grass, mines or any objects, it will explode. So after burning, you can safely use this ground. That's wrong. That's false. Maybe there will be some explosions, but mostly what is happening is that because of the heat and the fire, the mine will not explode, but it will be more unstable. And then if somebody will move it or touch it, it will explode easier. So never use a fire to clear the land. Never use it. The last case that I mentioned of the civilian killed in Croatia was a farmer who burned his grass, and then he went with the tractor to the field, and the tractor triggered this jumping, blasting mine. So fire does not destroy mines.
Міленко, я обіцяю, що це буде вже моє останнє запитання, а для інших я вже попередив, що ми закінчуємо роботу. Тут дуже важливо насправді запитання від Наталії Отенко, але я гадаю, що знову ми почули позицію Міленко, що до цього будемо самі з'ясовувати юридично, підписантом яких міжнародних конвенцій має стати Україна, щоб уникнути обвинувачень, фейків щодо мінування акваторії моря. Це питання юридичне, ми на нього обов'язково потім відповімо. А моє запитання до Міленка дуже просте. Як сталося так, що ти вирішив зробити розмінування, власне, справою свого життя? Це якісь технічні знання, специфічні, які були? Це просто так сталося? Чи це особиста історія, яка переконала тебе в тому, що це потрібно робити? Будь ласка.
First, I would like to say, to answer your beginning of the question, my opinion is that, again, every single country in the world should ratify and sign all these conventions and ban using this weapon. This weapon is used for a killing of civilians. This is my position, and it doesn't matter is it Ukraine or any other country. I strongly urge every country to sign the convention and to ban these weapons. My personal story, I'm not a professional, I'm not the miner. I was serving army as most of us. I was by pure, it was just coincidence that I was working in the Ministry of Interior when Croatia applied for the World Bank loan for mine action, for demining in Croatia. And I had a chance to work with the advisor, World Bank advisor, who was a former Brigadier General of British Army. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. He was telling me stories about his activities all over the world, and he was visiting these territories. And on one occasion, he was showing me, he was telling me a story how he was somewhere in Latin America with his guide, with his colleague that was showing him this dangerous areas, mine area. And he said he looked like a Rambo, you know, with all this munitions and all this stuff, short sleeves, camouflage jacket and all these things. So he said to him, I'll show you where the minefields are. And he told me, no, I don't want to go with you. I said, why? Are you afraid? And I said, no, you are too brave. And I need somebody who is scared. I don't want to go with you to a minefield because I don't know what will happen to me. So, you know, listening to these stories, I continued to work. I transferred from the Ministry of Interior to the Mine Action Center. And later on, I had another colleague from France that we were visiting one of the minefield sites. And a colleague of mine said, we found this prom mine, jumping, blasting mine. And he said, do you want to see it? And I said, yes, of course. But my French colleague said, no, I don't want to go there. So I was at the beginning thinking of him, oh, you know, he's like a coward. Why don't you want to see this? So when we approached this, and when I saw this guy stepping over the line and going into the deep grass, where somewhere there might be this mine, then I scared and I said, oh, come on, stop it. I don't want to see it. I'm leaving because I don't trust you. You are too brave. We don't need the brave people in the mining. We need smart people. We need very trained people. So this is why we are continuing this work here in Ukraine. We want to train Ukrainian soldiers, Ukrainian deminers, not soldiers, Ukrainian deminers that are using humanitarian demining, how to proceed, how to clear the land that will be safe for usage of the end users, of the civilian farmers, but also how to use the standard procedure that will keep them alive. So again, they don't have to be brave, they have to be trained and very careful.
Дуже дякую, Мільєнко. Колеги, Хорватія виборювала свою незалежність у кривавій і важкій війні. Хорватія мала частину своєї території окуповану державою або агентами держави, яка за розмірами і потенціалом переважала Хорватію. Хорватія вистояла, Хорватія звільнила окуповані території, Хорватія зазнала людських і матеріальних втрат, Хорватія відновилася. Тому я дякую Мільєнку Вахтарічу не лише за ті знання і поради, якими він поділився з нами, що стосується саме оцієї мінної тематики. Для мене він, хоча і міжнародний співробітник і експерт, він є хорват, і він є одним із джерел натхнення і знання, що Україна здатна вистояти, здатна звільнити окуповані території і здатна відбудуватися. Дуже дякую. Тут надходять до чату ще подяки так само Мільєнку Вахтарічу. Колеги, він все не встигне прочитати, тому там є така реакція або оплески, або сердечка. А ну, покажіть нашому лектору. Так, оплески або сердечка. Великий палець, там ще є великий палець, теж важливо. Мільєнко, дуже дякую. Оце є свідченням того, що твоя лекція була корисна, а головне, вона буде корисна. Ну і на закінчення я передаю слово Ларисі Хоровицькій, щоб вона підбила підсумок нашого.
Can I just say one last word?
Наступне.
Just last word.
Okay, yeah.
I just want to tell you that you should be proud of your specialists, your experts. Really, you have extraordinary people that are doing this job in state emergency service, in special transport service, in Ukrainian armed forces that are doing humanitarian demining, in national police. So just be proud of them and leave them do their job. Just, you know, believe in them. They are fantastic.
Дякую. І тепер Ліана Хоровицька, будь ласка.
Дякую дуже. Я хотіла якраз підсумувати тим, що роботу треба залишати професіоналам з іншої сторони, з одної сторони або з іншої. Дякую дуже Мільєнко, дякую дуже Андрію Куликов, дякую учасникам. У нас ще є там в чаті одне запитання, я не знаю, чи ми можемо його озвучити з приводу підписантом яких міжнародних конвенцій має стати Україна, щоб уникнути обвинувачень фейків щодо мінування акваторій морів. Можливо, ми його проговоримо, якщо Мільєнко знає відповідь.
Ліано, я це запитання прочитав.
В мене зник зв'язок, вибачте, того я тоді, сорі.
На нього відповів в той спосіб, який вважав запити.
В мене останні 10 хвилин не було зв'язку, я перегружала інтернет, тому вибачте. Тоді повертаюсь до final words. Дякую вам дуже. Ліза вже написала, що ми плануємо серію заходів. Наступний захід відбудеться в п'ятницю. Він буде присвячений журналістським матеріалам як інструментам в судовому розгляді. Я просто стисло скажу, про що там буде. Ми зробимо анонс, але просто щоб ви знали, в яких міжнародних судах і за яких умов можуть стати доказом журналістські матеріали. Якщо журналіст став свідком, чи можна робити журналістські, що можна зробити, щоб цей матеріал став доказом. І як може потрапити до міжнародного судового впровадження і що робити, щоб це сталося, знову-таки журналістський матеріал. Це дуже стисло, наступна п'ятниця. Я вам дуже дякую. Я сподіваюся, що ви близькі у безпеці будете і наскільки це можливо. Сподіваюся з вами побачитись. Дякую комісії, дякую колегам і сподіваюся до зустрічі.
Хай живе і використовуйте набуті сьогодні знання, а також здоровий глузд. На все добре.
На все добре.